Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Money in the Law, my FM 101.3. A little late start today. It's my fault. I'll take full responsibility. The late person, your host, John
You know
Johan.
we tape this, right?
I know.
Okay. You know, like no matter what time you no matter what
People,
time you get here, it's going to go on at 11 o'clock.
I'm treating it like it's happening.
All right, I'm just
real
making
time.
sure. I just want to make sure you know.
I operate in real.
Works.
Even if I'm being, even if I know it's going to happen later, everything's in real time.
All right.
I'm in the moment. I'm right now.
Yes, you are. You are Mr. Moment.
Yeah. So enough about me. Let's talk about me. I'm John Johan from Maine Effort Financial, and I'm with my host my co-host Jay Marsden from the Marsden Law Group, the famous Marsden Law Group,
Legend.
both located in downtown Holliston, the legendary metropolis. And we're also joined here by Tom Harmon and Holliston Cable Access TV, the Holliston Hub, soon to be.
Yeah, we're located in the financial district right down in Holliston.
We're in the financial district, and HCAT's right around the corner.
Yes,
It's all like
a media.
there.
It's like a media.
Yeah, it's like in JFK when he starts walking around and he's talking about, like, right there that's the Central Intelligence Agency, right there that's the Office of Naval Intelligence, right there that's the CIA.
Yeah, we're the same. We operate the same way.
It's exactly how Holliston is.
Your office, my office, HCAT, all within striking distance of one another.
There's a superette. There's that super place in the middle.
Keeps us fueled up, making us, powering us through lunch.
I mean, yeah. Why would you rather be anywhere else? I mean, nothing against downtown Milford. Milford's a happening spot.
Hey, they got it going on.
They really do.
We've talked about this for
really do.
decades on the show.
Tom, are you from Milford? I am. Okay,
see, so he knows. He's living. He's
we're
living.
Preaching to the choir.
Absolutely,
here. Yeah. So do you know when that Trailhead Pizza place is opening up? I mean, we've been waiting for that for like over a year.
I don't think it's Trailhead.
Whatever. It's Hill.
Flatbread.
Flat hair. It's got something to do with trains. There's a train connection to it.
The one right here in downtown?
Exactly.
With all the brown paper in the window?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That one. That one that looks like it's boarded up.
That's really, it's ready to
Before
roll.
I
just keep waiting for the
wait for that place.
That build-up must be unbelievable. What's going on behind that paperwork?
It's a train. It's a chain. Well, there's I don't know what defines a chain.
Franchise, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. There's another one. The one that I've been to is the one in Hodson.
Oh, I didn't know there was two of them.
There's more.
Yeah.
So and it is. It's not for the meek or faint-hearted. It's a great place, and and they have, it's the beer place. They have great beer, and they have.
Who doesn't love great beer?
And that was one of the places where, in the few times, how now all the the microbrews have all the different alcohol levels, right?
Yep.
And there's some kind of rule. I don't know if it's more of a guideline than a rule, but this is where if you go over a certain alcohol level, you get it in a different glass. You get in one of those shandy glasses, right?
And you're never happy. Like, don't get me wrong. I understand the math, and even though there's no math in law school, I get the math. Like, you're getting an 8.2, which means it's 2 than your normal, so we give you in that fancy presentation. But I'm always mad. I'm always mad.
Wrong.
Like, I'm like, you know what? And I'm not saying I want that, like, high octane beer in a full pint glass. Don't get me wrong, that'd be great. But I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna rip through this in like 2 seconds.
But I do want it in a because then I feel like I'm drinking a beer.
Oh, you're gonna feel like you're drinking a beer, all right?
I don't want to feel
quick.
like I'm drinking like a snifter of cognac.
I know, that's my thing. That's my thing.
And so I asked them. I go, listen, I don't care how much you put in the regular beer glass. Just give me a regular beer glass.
I see what you're saying.
And then they're like, wow, we can't the rule and everything, right? So and I'm like, fine, this is what I'll do.
Yeah.
I'm going to order 2 of those and 1 empty beer glass, and I make it myself.
Combine the two.
There
you go. Now you're after it. There you go.
And
now you're 5 beers in.
No, but I'm not going to go
crazy. You're picking up tabs. You're doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
But I'm drinking a beer because
I know.
It's the experience.
It's a beer glass. You ordered a beer. You didn't order a cognac. I'm with you.
Exactly,
I'm with you.
Exactly. Nothing against cognac. I mean, it's good when when it's time to drink it.
I don't listen to any of his music, but I got it. I understand. I don't get the flip flop thing. Whatever.
Right, cognac, like it caps out at 1978. Right, that's it. The playlist stops here, guys.
That's right.
This is going playing it again. Yeah.
God, unbelievable.
There's no more stuff. Do you listen to Yacht? Speaking of playlists, do you listen to Yacht Rock on Spotify?
Yacht Rock is my beloved wife's one of her all-time favorites. I mean, it's like, come on.
You can't stop. Right. I mean, I wish there was some. Is Yacht Rock an entity? Can they sponsor the show? Because I would do yacht rock in between segments.
You just run that on a loop at the office all day. Everybody comes in and everybody's crisscross sailing and they're doing all their stuff.
Right,
and you're like, yeah, yeah.
And there's some like some yacht rock go-tos. Like
there's some
like,
deep tracks in
right,
there.
well, right, but you'll put on whatever version of yacht, because there's all different, right?
Yeah.
You put on whatever version. You just said it. One guy that you don't hear anymore until you put on yacht rock is Christopher Cross.
Well, you don't go. I mean, look, I'm not.
Never.
I am not discounting his talents. Right, the guy's a legit talent. And
He's
back
legendary.
In the day,
yeah.
Back in the day, he was it. But I don't go looking for him. But if he's on there,
you don't
I'm
turn
like,
it off.
Oh, I'll listen to that. Sure.
You don't.
Yeah.
You don't
Yep.
turn it off. You don't turn it off. You don't turn it off. You sing along.
Yep.
It brings you back to a time and place where you
yeah.
were, right? You bring right, and then the doesn't he do the he does the Arthur theme, right, from
Yes.
the movie Arthur, right? And you're like, wow, that was a good movie. Dudley Moore.
The great Dudley Moore. That's right. Liza with a Z. Come on, who's not
Liza
into it?
with a Z.
Yeah. Yep, crazy
then,
stuff.
So there's always Christopher Cross, and then the other like yacht rock, where there'll be at least 3 songs from these guys is Hall & Oates.
Oh, we were just talking about him before you got
were
here.
not.
We were talking about
It's almost like we studied for the quiz, right?
great Daryl Hall. We were talking about how he does a show on YouTube, or he has a channel, but he's got Daryl's house. He's got this big barn in the back of his property.
You know where it is?
And he has now North Carolina. Is my
No.
guess. No. Where?
No, you know where it is? It's in Connecticut. You know what? You know how far it was from where I grew up? Like maybe 30 minutes.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
there you go.
Did I ever tell?
So we were just talking before the show started about how he's had like the guy from Tommy Shaw from Styx. He's had the guys from Cheap Trick. He had the OJs on.
Yeah.
Smokey Robinson. I mean, come on. Who gets to meet a room of Smokey Robinson, right? Doing his thing, doing the ooh ooh baby baby. And then we were talking about he was the guy from Matchbox 20.
Rob Thomas.
Yeah. He's in there banging out tunes, and he's doing some Hall & Oates tunes. He's doing some Matchbox 20 stuff. It's fantastic.
And the thing, and that's the stuff that he puts on YouTube. So as I understand, again, this is kind of secondhand information from my people back in Connecticut.
Sure.
Is that he'll do like these kind of just regular normal bands, like no name bands come in, and then all of a sudden Daryl Hall will sit down and start playing.
Hey, guys, mind if I jump in?
Can I just see if I can, kind of work into some keyboard here or something? The Daryl Hall.
Oh, I love it. And by the way, and he looks fantastic.
And he's hanging in there, right?
Yeah.
He's
He's got the hair.
They
They
just came. They just were here maybe 5 or 6 months ago.
Oh,
Hall & Oates were at Mohegan Sun, and we, for whatever reason, we
missed it. Yep.
We couldn't make it happen.
Yep.
That was the second concert I ever saw, was Hall & Oates.
There you go.
And do you remember G.E. Smith? The great G.E. Smith?
Yes.
G.E. Smith
He
was
used to play for Saturday Night Live.
He was the Saturday Night Live guy,
Yep.
right? He ran that band.
Yeah.
He was their lead guitarist. So I'm
Ooh.
here. I'm me to Tom to G. We had great seats. I'm
Yep.
me to Tom and G.E. Smith seeing Hall, and this is back in
This is
1985
back in-
when
they
they
were
were
at the peak of their
when
power, baby.
Well, they were arguably, or somebody rated them as the greatest rock and roll duo of all time.
Well, that's whoa.
Of all time.
Of all time.
I mean, now
better than Lennon and McCartney. I mean, better than us.
Well, I don't think Lennon and McCartney are considered a duo because they have those other 2 strap
that's
hangers
right.
with them. Right, those other 2 clowns that were along for the ride.
I was going
right?
to say, now we're getting into it gets a little weirder. Now we're talking like Tyler and Perry. Now we're talking about there's a lot of people.
Not like that. No, it's not like that.
All
It's,
right, so
it's
you're
just
saying
a
just
two
them
man
as the-
two-man operation, right?
All
Not
right.
even Rush, who's a 3-man operation. Yeah, you can't do that, right?
All right, that's cool. All right, I guess.
So you're here on Money in the Law in the Music Hour, talking
Money,
about
music, and the law.
Yeah,
Money, music, and the law.
We might. I mean, soon enough. I mean, if I spend a little time with my guitar and I can put actually 2 chords together,
That's it, man.
You and I may
Danger, Will Robinson.
It may turn
Danger,
right
Will
into
Robinson.
that.
Yeah.
Tom, are you musical?
Not really.
Oh, wait a minute. What's not really is not no.
That's a no.
Have you played any instruments?
Just guitar when I was a little younger.
All right.
What?
I wasn't good. I took only a few practices.
All right.
But you could pick it back up, right?
But you still have it, right?
I was going to say you still own
got
the guitar,
it,
right?
You still got it, right? Yeah, he does.
You
Yeah,
don't?
Yeah, he does.
Yes, he does. He's a
lying.
liar, right?
Lying.
He's got a
Lying
couple of
right
them.
to our faces. Yeah, right from behind the camera.
I'm okay. Let me. Yeah, right.
I'm okay. That's right. That's right.
He's
Yeah.
that guy.
Guess who's on the next Daryl show? Hey, guys, you guys know Tom from Milford. Tom toured with us back in the day. That's
Tommy
right.
H.
Yeah.
I did it when I was a little younger. Yeah. That's like right. That's like Slash.
Steve Winwood. Yeah, I was playing with traffic when I was 13. You know, I mean, why
Slash.
not? You know, I just played a little bit of. I have a little experience in that
It's
area.
like Slash trying out for that high school school band,
Oh,
right?
that's fantastic. Yeah, you're hired. Yeah.
Okay, you're hired, and you're not.
Yeah, that's right. So great.
This isn't fair.
So besides this, this nonsense, what are we talking about
I don't
today?
know. I don't know. I truly, I don't know. I had a big. There's so many things I could talk about that have nothing to do with money. Well, it has to do with money. So yeah. So in our building today, 2 units, the power gets shut off. Right. Right.
Pay your bill.
Because obviously I didn't pay the bill for 2, but I get 11 EverSource bills, right? And this is the thing, right? So in the way the building's set up, it's like a crazy man set it up, right? And Dean Koshevitz, who's the guy who used my Wheatstone, well, he's a great guy. I don't know what he must have done it on purpose for me. He was like, oh yeah, so here you go. Here's all your figure this out, right?
Here's all your
there's no.
bills.
It's not like first floor. There's no office numbers. First floor, office 1. You know,
Right,
anything like that.
right.
It's not, so it was. So the call I get today is there's no power, it's freezing in here, and there's no computer. Which, of course, they're psyched about that because they know the next words come out of my mouth are 2 words: go home, and they're like, yes, right?
Oh,
It's like
man.
right. It's like a snow day at school. So
That
yeah,
is
so
funny.
I don't want to talk about that, though, but I just had to get it off my chest.
I've been there. I've been there. I've been there. I've been
I
there.
had to get it off my chest. So I sorted it out, and then like, oh, by the way, we have to back bill you for the time when the last time there was a 10. I'm like, oh, I go, can you give me an idea what
God.
that number is going to be? And they're like, she even said, she gives me the, I can't do it right now, but the whole like, you knew it. It's gonna.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Is this somebody?
This is EverSource.
Oh,
the
yeah.
EverSource.
Yeah,
person
I've
who's
been
helping
I've
me.
been on the receiving end of that phone call. Hey, the internet seems to be down. It is? Must be a problem with Verizon.
Yeah.
And then of course, people who know me in the building are like, is it a problem with Verizon, or is it a problem with the landlord?
You know what? Sometimes that bill doesn't look right, so you're going to put it aside.
Yeah, yeah. I'll get to that.
Just
I'll
doesn't
get to
look
that.
right.
Yep.
Just
Why is
doesn't
that in the
look
bottom
right.
of this pile? So
So
all
I
good.
I can talk about that, but is there something that you want to talk about?
No.
Sorry. All right. So you know what? We're gonna figure it out in the break, and we'll be right. I like this. You know what? This is like right. There's no expectations.
Tom's just unplugging stuff over there.
No,
He's like,
no. We're talking
well
about
done,
something.
Well done. Well
We're
done.
talking about. You know what it is? It's a free for all. It's like a free form.
I get something to talk about. I always have something to talk about.
Whatever.
We'll
all right.
find out after the break what it is.
Can't wait. I was psyched for freeform. All right, we'll be right. We'll be right back. We'll be right back.
And you're back. Money the Law, My FM. 101.3, Jay Marsden with the Marsden Law Group. John Drohan, Main for Financial. Tom behind the screen, keeping us skinny.
I mean, Tom's smiling. He's
He is-
happy, right? He's having fun.
Tom's
which is
like, I
for the
get paid.
first
I
time.
get paid to do this.
He's like,
This is
I get paid to
unbelievable.
do this.
These two jokers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So before the break, there was some concern. There was some questions about we
concerned
feel
about
like
anything.
we felt like we'd run out of things to talk about.
After 11
We're done,
years.
guys.
Yeah.
Guys, if for those of you who've been following the show for all these
This is
years,
it. This is the last show.
we're all done.
And that's how they do it in radio.
You've learned everything. You've learned everything you're going to learn. At this point, if you're not a lawyer, you could be a lawyer. If you're not a financial advisor, you could be a financial
Get there,
advisor.
yeah.
We're tapped out.
Go
We're
back
tapped
to
out.
you on YouTube. Go to the HCAT YouTube. You can watch it. You
Fine.
can listen to
It's
it on
fine.
My
It's
FM
fine.
on all the recordings. You'll learn. It'll be nothing, but it'll. You know what it'll be like? It'll be like one of those STEM classes. It'll be like one of those master
Like
classes.
Khan Academy or something like
Exactly,
that. Yep, that's right. That's
exactly.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. Master class. Great idea. That's
Yeah.
a great idea. That's what this is. This is a weekly free master class. Like
Yeah.
today's master class is Medicaid.
Oh, for the love of Mary! Really? We're doing. All right, I'm actually.
Let's bring all
Let's
this
see what-
fun. Let's bring all this fun to a complete screeching halt.
I mean, what could bring it more to a screeching halt than Medicaid, right?
Someone's in a nursing home. What's more
right.
fun than that? What's more fun than that? I mean, come
I mean,
on.
talk about seriously, like it's a big bucket of cold water. Just
Oh, that's
boom.
it. It's like, you know
There
what?
you go. Yeah.
It's like mom showing up at your dorm room. That's what it is right
Yeah,
there.
it's mom showing up at
Hey
your
guys,
dorm room.
who's open the door? Someone's knocking at the door. The door opens and it's mom.
It's
And
mom
like,
showing up at the dorm. It's flashing lights behind you as you're driving.
yep,
Yeah, it's
yep.
that.
Party
right?
is
Yep,
over.
Medicaid is
That
here,
is
right?
it. That is it.
I was going to talk about the movie Superbad, but you know what? We can go Medicaid.
Great movie. Great movie. Fantastic movie. Yep. The great.
Tom's
Jonah Hill.
laughing. Tom,
Yep.
Was Tom laughing at Medicaid? No.
Of course he was. Come on. He knows it's serious. That's why he knows it's serious as a heart attack. He's like, this is it.
He's
This is
serious
it.
as after your
Yep,
heart attack.
that's right, that's right.
You wish you had
Yeah,
a heart attack.
that's right. Then you're in the rehab, and then you're like, wow, well, okay, put the show
We're
on.
not,
put
but
the,
it's
put the
not.
radio show on.
We're making light of it, but it's not anything to make light of.
No,
you know,
absolutely
it's
not. No,
it's
absolutely not.
anything
No,
to make light of.
no, hey, it's all fun and games. So they hand you a $15,000 bill.
Yeah, it's
then
all-
you're like, whoa, hold on, whoa.
They hand you a
whoa.
$15,000 bill, and you have a 500 or I don't know how many pages, 50-page Medicaid application
staring at you in the face.
that you have to fill out.
Yep,
I'm like,
yep.
oh, this should be easy. This is pretty intuitive stuff.
So hold on. So it's 50 pages for the application, and then you want what? Oh, I'm sorry, 5 years worth of all of our financial transactions.
I got those.
Yeah, no problem. They're
I
right
got
here.
those
Get them in the
right
car.
here. I got them right in this
Got 'em.
folder
Gotta
right
keep
here.
them. I carry them
Yeah.
everywhere. Carry them everywhere.
Well, what I do is I use a loose leaf binder with the page protectors. So
Highlight. I highlight all the transactions. That you might
Speaking of
have questions
highlighters,
about.
I brought my highlighter today to do just that. So, how many? You only need 5 years? Is that what you need?
5 years, baby. 60 months. 60.
60 months.
60. And everybody asks all the time. They're like, well, so how does it work? And I go, it works just like you think it works. Like you hand somebody 5 years worth of financial records, and somebody goes through them page by page. That's what happens.
Somebody goes through them and recognizes like the patterns, and they see.
Well, what happened? We tell people all the time. What
See
they
it.
do is they go down the list. They go down the right side of your statement, and they just circle big numbers. Usually anything over $1,000. They circle, and then they go back and they go, all right. Some of these are deposits. Some of these are withdrawals. What's the story? What gives? What gives? Right. And the deposits usually Social Security, pension. Right. What do you like?
Do they really say that? Do they say the words? Some of these are deposits, and some of these are withdrawals. That's almost like.
I'm sure they do.
That's almost.
Do they
that's
say it
almost
out
like,
loud? I don't
that's
know. They
almost
say
like,
it in their
that's
head.
almost
I
like
don't know.
some of this water is wet. Actually, all of this water is wet, and what's not has not touched water is what we consider dry.
It's a bank statement, Jay. Actually, everything on this statement is either a deposit or a withdrawal because it's called a bank statement. Right?
I love it.
Is there another alternative?
I
Is there
want
another
somebody-
alternative?
I want
It's all
somebody to-
debits and credits.
I want
Is there-
somebody to dumb it down for me.
Is
like
there
that,
another
right?
alternative,
Yep.
right?
We're gonna slow this way down.
I want to make sure you understand this. This is
So
a
what do
bank
you have
statement.
here? Yeah.
That's right.
Either money's going in or money's going out. Because if there's nothing happening, then we're not going to. We don't need to document.
I don't know
that.
I don't know what the alternative would be. I don't know what the neutral of that is. I mean, it's certainly not. You're not really in a holding pattern.
All right. So so we're digging into that.
Yep.
Deposits and withdrawals. What does it all mean?
But that's the at its base. That's what happens. That's exactly what happens. Hey, show me your financial statements. Give me all your fidelity statements. Give me all your bank statements. Give me everything, and then we're going to go through it, and
Yeah.
we're going to find out basically what have you been doing with your money.
And that's just it. Like, and this, the person who does it, or the people that are in charge of
caseworker,
this,
yep.
they know how to do this. They have seen bank statements from every bank.
Well, you bring up a great point, right? You say, oh, we're applying for Medicaid. Okay, great. Guess what? I spend my entire day. I've got a pile of cases on my desk of everybody who's applying for Medicaid. You name it, we've seen it.
Yeah.
Yep, we've seen it. Yep.
Yeah, we know, and more importantly, is if you're applying for Medicaid and there is some discrepancy or whatever's going to come out of it, whatever they're going to decide, they're going to say you're going to be like, well, wait a minute, we do qualify for Medicaid, and they're like, no, you don't, and here's why.
Yep.
And,
They'll tell you why.
Or you will qualify for Medicaid once these stipulations have been met.
Correct. Well, there's three things that have to happen, right? When you're applying for Medicaid, right?
Write this down.
Write it down.
Yeah.
Highlight this. There's three things that have to happen. Number one, you got to be in a nursing home. All right. Sounds obvious, right? What do you mean I got to be in a nursing home? You got to be in a nursing home. We can't apply ahead of time. We can't apply because you
That's
think you
important
might
to know.
go to a nursing home. Like
Right.
that's when this happens,
Yeah.
right? Somebody's in a nursing home and they say, look, I don't have the resources, or I don't want to have the resources to pay my $15,000 bill. What am I going to do? Well, you're in a nursing home. That's the first thing that has to happen. And you have to need to be there. This is the other thing. You want Medicaid to pay the bill? You can't just show up and be like, you know what?
You got a free bed, right? Yeah.
Well, that's what.
Room for one.
That's right. I just see a table for one, right? That's what. And we say that because there's a screening process. Medicaid will look at you and say, do you need to be here? Now, it sounds obvious and it sounds somewhat silly, but if you think about it, there's certainly an argument to be said for, well, if I didn't need to be here and I don't have anywhere to go, my options are, from a state-sponsored housing perspective, my options are prison, or a nursing home,
prison,
right?
nursing
if I
home,
can, if I can get on Medicaid,
or
right?
somewhere in between outside.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Under some type of
Yeah.
some type of road structure,
Yeah.
right? So this is what they want to make sure of, that you're just not showing up and you're saying to yourself, look, I really don't want to pay rent, so I'd rather live here, come and go as I please, and let the Medicaid people pay my bill.
I don't want to pay that $3,000 a month rent. I'd rather pay this $15,000 a month rent.
Well, but if I get on Medicaid, I'm paying my income. That's it, right? So you have to need to be in the nursing home. There's a screening process. You'll get screened. Somebody will come out and say, yes, you meet that clinical criteria.
But will a nursing home let just any old person come in?
If you want to roll in and pay the bill privately, they don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care. You could care less.
There's no screening process.
Not for private pay. No.
Not for a private pay.
Yeah.
So it's all once I get to that point. So what if I went to a nursing, so that's the thing. So I could be in a nursing home because I'm privately paying for said nursing home.
Yep.
And I've been there a year. I'm making a bunch of friends. Like I'm holding court every day. Like this is I've never been happier. I haven't been happier in 10 years, right?
Yep.
And then all of a sudden I run out of money because it's $15K a month.
Yep.
And then I say, well, don't worry about it. Now I can apply for Medicaid.
I'm gonna flip over to Medicaid.
I'm clean.
Yeah,
I'm clean.
that's right. That's right.
So they could move me out.
Medicaid could say, you don't meet the criteria. You could stay.
Yeah.
You're going to go find some more $15,000 checks,
yeah.
but we're not writing the check. We're not writing the check. You don't need to be here.
I'd have to get some form. I'd have to do some self-inflicted injury, right? I'd be like one of those. Right?
Well, we've talked to people and like, look, they keep saying, my mom's getting screened on Tuesday, Thursday, whatever the day is, and we're like, okay, well, let's hope she doesn't have a great day. I mean, remember there's a qualifier here. She's gonna qualify.
I would imagine it would be hard. I mean, all I'd have to do is kind of forget my birthday or something like that.
You have to need help with the activities of daily
ADLs,
living. That's it, right? The ADLs will get you there, right? So you're gonna need to be there, and then in addition to needing to be there, then Medicaid takes a picture. The day you want your benefits to start, Medicaid takes a snapshot of all your assets. And where are your assets on that day, right? And you need to make certain criteria. You, as the person in the nursing home, you need to have under $2,000 in your name. Can't be 2001, can't be 2002. You're going to have $1,800 in your name that on the day you want your bennies to start. That's what has to happen. If you have a spouse, your spouse needs to have no more than 140 grand roughly
140
in their name.
So that's always the big question, right? Because oftentimes you're in that situation where the one spouse needs to go into the long-term care situation, and they get to the point where, okay, but the other spouse is okay, right?
Sure.
Still in the house, right, or whatever, and you get to that point where they can only have $140,000. That's liquid money, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
they don't want to impoverish you, right? They recognize
Yeah.
that, like, okay, and that's indexed to inflation, so it used to be a lot lower. 140-ish is the number, and you can have a house. Your spouse
and you can stay in your house.
keeps
right?
the house. That's right. That's right. And by the way, there's no
Primary real estate, right? It's not like I can't have my Nantucket house that overlooks, the eastward-looking Nantucket house.
Are you renting your Nantucket house?
No.
Well, you should be, because if you're renting your Nantucket house, you can keep it. They don't care. That is business income.
Business income.
Right?
Interesting to know, right?
Yep. Necessary for your self-sustainment.
Tom, I need you to see if you can find some people to rent my Nantucket house. It's $22,000 a week in the off season, and then we
40
negotiate.
in the summer.
We negotiate during the peak.
But that's
season.
a big deal, because you'll have people who have their primary residence they can keep. And then if you've been in the business, if you're in, for example, if you're one of those guys who's been collecting multifamilies for 10, 15 years, those multifamilies provide income, and they don't care this is from an assets perspective. They don't care about those assets because they're necessary for your self-sustainment.
Yeah, but again, when it comes to my Medicaid application, right? So let's say I'm married and I'm going into a nursing home, but we own an investment property.
Yep.
And it's rented, right? And that's great, and it pays whatever it is, $5,000 a month.
Yep.
And how does that work with respect to? So we have $140,000 in the bank, we have our primary house, and we have our rental income.
Yep.
So that $5,000 a month plus my Social Security and whatever else I'm getting, that all counts towards that bill, right? That nursing home bill, minus whatever my wife is going to need.
Maybe. The reason I say maybe is because
you know what? I'm glad we're kind of diving into this
That's right.
now.
You all made fun of me. There's just keep in mind, everyone's very familiar with the 5-year look back. We talked about it, joking around about it at the beginning of the show. There's a 5-year look back.
The 5-year look back when Tom was filling in on the Guns N' Roses tour.
That's right.
He was
5-year
playing
look back.
rhythm guitar.
That's right.
Yeah.
Slash.
Seems like five. It seems so long ago.
5 years. 5 year look back. 5 year look back.
You know why? Because Slash doesn't feel like playing that crap.
That's
He's
right.
not,
John, this is you.
I'm not playing that bar B or any of
doing
that.
lead. I'm
Yeah,
doing
I'm
lead.
not
I'm
doing
doing
the
lead.
D
I'm doing
sus.
lead.
No,
Doing
I'm
lead.
just yeah.
I'm gonna make this-
I'm doing A's and E's, baby.
Make this baby sing. Make this baby sing. Right.
Yeah, you make it happen.
So you're that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a 5 year look back, but the 5 year look back does not apply for husbands and wives. So I can literally give the husband or the wife, depending on who's going, right, spouse, give the spouse all the assets literally on the way to the nursing home. There's no 5 year look back.
Right.
So that rental property that you were just talking about that you suggested might need to go towards the cost of my care at the nursing home, no, because I can give all the assets to my spouse
Yeah.
on the way to drop me off at the nursing home.
Yeah.
Medicaid cares about me. Do I have under $2,000? Yes. Does your wife have under under 140,000? Yeah, in the house,
Yeah.
right? But they don't care about her income, and they care about my income because I got to pay my income to the nursing home.
So at that point, the income essentially splits.
Yep.
So on the Medicaid application, your income splits. So what? I mean, what if my wife is still working?
They don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care.
So you can apply.
The spouse in the house, the
So
spouse
this-
who's not going to the nursing home, they don't care
I mean, this
about
just
your
seems
income.
like a Medicaid loophole. I might write Medicaid loophole.
It's not
on
a
this-
loophole. It's not a loophole. These are the rules. These are the rules.
Those
they
are
don't
the
want
rules,
to, they don't-
baby.
They don't want to impoverish the non-nursing home spouse. So they don't worry about, they don't care about their income. My income has to go to the nursing home. I have to give, if I'm the one going to the nursing home, I have to give my income to the nursing home
Right.
as what's called my patient paid amount.
We talked about this.
And
the
Medicaid will
PPA.
give you a piece of paper at the end of the approval process that says, this is how much money you must pay to the nursing home every month. It's usually my income minus my health insurance premiums. You're allowed to keep your health insurance. You may get sick in a nursing home. You may fall
yeah.
and break your arm in a nursing home. You may slip on ice and bust up your knee. You may need health insurance. So you keep your Medicare. You
I'm going
keep
to need some
your
money
health
to
insurance.
hire my lawyer too.
You
if
might
that
need a lawyer.
happens.
That's
Yeah.
right. So you keep that health insurance. So they give you a deduction for that, and then they give you a deduction for a whopping $72.80.
Well, that's my Mohegan Sun money.
That's
Yeah,
your haircuts and newspapers,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that's it, and that's what you get. So for me, if I'm the one in the nursing home, I need to have under $2,000, and then my income, in theory, goes to the nursing home to cover the cost
So
of my
in your
care.
case, it would be, let's say it's your Social Security, right?
Yep.
So your Social Security, and let's say you sold your law practice, and let's say there's a payout on your
Sure.
law practice, right? You can't give that to your wife, can I?
No, income, no,
Yep.
no. Now, well, hold on. I mean, that's an interesting fact pattern. Could I assign the right to the income to my wife?
Sure could,
Sure
right?
I could.
Yep.
Sure I could. Now it becomes her income, not mine. That you can do.
And so again,
To my wife. To my wife. Not to my kids, to my wife.
yep. And so just for clarification purposes, so it doesn't matter how much my wife makes as income, just so long as
She has no more
maintains
than
her
140 grand in the bank.
And the 11 rental properties that we own that are generating income that are
For her, because we've put them all in her name, because there's no 5 year look back on that type of plan, not a problem. Not a problem.
right now again, this all becomes like academic. If 5 years ago I put all of them into an irrevocable trust, and as with my kids,
Correct.
as my wife is could my wife be the trustee of an irrevocable trust?
She could. I wouldn't recommend it. We
Yeah,
like to keep
'cause then
them,
it
like to
would
keep
be
them
dicey,
separate. It's
yeah.
a little weird. It's a little tough to sort of figure out what your how do you separate who's in charge of what. But no, this is when it's a spousal, what we call a spousal situation. There's lots of options.
Yeah.
The message is that there's lots of options. If
I'm calling this spousal options.
spousal Medicaid planning opportunities, I believe is how we would put this in the calendar at the workshop. Is what we would do. We would put that together. As a
Go to
workshop.
that workshop.
Well, I mean, but here's why you go to that workshop. Because, first of all, stop listening to other people. Because everybody knows a little bit, just enough to kind of be in trouble, right? And we hear this all the time. And people say,
even if you've applied for it, even if you've been there, right?
well, you just don't know. You just don't know what everybody's situation is, right? The biggest challenge that we have doing Medicaid planning for clients is with your favorite type of account, the IRA.
The IRA.
The IRA, because you can't do anything with it. It's money that's in a tax-sheltered account,
can't give it away.
tax-deferred account, and to try to give it away means you got to pay a big tax bill. To liquidate a $500,000 IRA, and this is important. This is important because we tell people all the time, when somebody has a sizable retirement account, the Medicaid planning and the success or the better options that you want to hear about are completely dependent on who's going to the nursing home and whose IRA is it.
Right.
Sometimes it matches up, sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't always work out. But that IRA, that big retirement account, it's great for retirement planning. It's great for your income planning that you guys do with your clients. It's a challenge.
Yeah, when you get to Medicaid,
planning.
because the I in IRA is individual.
That's right.
That's the thing.
That's
so
right.
It's not joint.
We can't put it in a trust.
I can't assign it to my wife. She
Nope.
can't assign hers to me. It's like
you can give it to your spouse, but you have to take a full liquidation.
Oh, I got to cash it out,
and you're going to pay $100,000.
I have to make it. I have to make it not an IRA anymore. All right, so we're gonna take a quick break on that.
Just separate
yeah,
them
we're gonna
separate.
yeah we're gonna, and so everybody can think about things.
If you need to grab another pen
Think
because
about-
you're writing furiously, this is a great
Right,
opportunity.
you're driving
to do
right
that.
now. You can pull over if you're putting notes into your note thing, like sell my. Jay said to sell my.
If you're
IRA
talking to text right now,
today.
this is a great opportunity. Great opportunity to work on this.
Right, you might want to pull over and just review, make sure that what you said is actually what you heard. All
That's right.
Don't go away. We'll be right back.
And we're back. My FM 101.3. Jay Marsden with the Marsden Law Group. John Dro here at Made for Financial. Tom steering us through the cosmos here, getting it all done here at Base Camp My FM 101.3.
This is where it all and Base Camp with new mics.
Yeah.
Right?
You know,
Look at these bad boys.
If my voice sounds even more silky smooth
more
today
Barry Whitish
than it normally would, that's because Ray was kind enough to have Tom pony up for a couple of new mics. For those of you who don't know,
11 years we've been talking.
For those of you who don't know, if you haven't seen it on the show, last week we were in here literally wrestling with these microphones from, I think it was.
We've been doing it for years.
Yeah, I think
They're from the
Marconi. I think
70s.
Marconi used it.
Marconi
was
like, is this thing
pushing
on?
this? Yeah. Can
What
you
do
hear me in
mean
Europe? Can you hear me in Europe? Oh, Europe, come in, Europe. Yep, that's right. Watson, come here. I need you.
It was the same microphone that the Titanic used to try and call for, say, iceberg.
That's right. That's right. Just the Carpathian. Just the Carpathian for those of you who are history buffs. Yeah. So I think those are on their way to. Those are on their way to the Smithsonian.
When are you going to get here?
Those are on their way to the Smithsonian. So I'm sure they'll probably have like an event. We might even get invited to it, some type of event for the donation. So
right. We have to tux up for that one.
Yeah, that's right. I might have to get on
pull that out.
That's right. Slim down a little bit.
Out.
See if I can still get in my tux for crying out loud. Do you have a tux? You own a tux?
I do not.
You do not.
I know you do. I know you do.
I
do.
Just ask me. I'll tell you. Just ask me. I'll tell you.
So what I do own though, but remember, I was in the military, so they give us one.
Oh.
They give us the formal attire, the dress blues, right? So yeah, I could maybe try and squeeze back into that.
I'd pay money.
I was lucky that I didn't have to get new ones, right?
Sure.
So I have the same ones that we got issued, but towards the end there was we didn't wear them too much, and it was so funny. I had a buddy of mine, John Pistone, who was he was a guy that I work with at Northeastern, and he always called us dress blues and the shoes that went along. He goes, "This is my drinking outfit," because anytime you were wearing that thing, it was a party, right?
It was free. It was free.
Never, and usually it was. Usually it was an open bar.
Somebody was picking up a
some
tab,
form
right?
of open bar.
That's pretty funny. What there's rules, right? There's rules around whether or not, like, what outfit you can be wearing, if you will, what uniform you can be wearing if you're going to partake in a beverage.
Well, there is, and things may have changed kind of over the years. But when I first came into the Army, so I came in like kind of right in that post-Vietnam War, right?
Yep.
And the rule of thumb back then was 2 beer limit at lunch,
Yep.
like at lunchtime.
Yep.
So it was guys would roll out to the O Club or to the NCO Club, and they would have their lunch, and they would have 2 beers, and it was a thing, right? They'd be, hey, no more than 2 beers, right?
Right.
No. I mean, you got 2. How many was that? 2, right? It was a thing, and of course everybody's in uniform because it's a duty day. But then it kind of evolved to, well, maybe you should only drink if you're in like an enclosed place with all other military people. Like it was like that, not in like a public place.
Sure.
And then it got to the point where you're not allowed to drink in uniform in regular unless it's a social event.
Sure.
And
Okay.
so like your your ACUs or your BDUs, what we used to call them back in the day,
Right.
you're not out drinking.
You're
in
rolling
those
through an
things.
airport. You're not slugging back cocktails. Yeah, yeah.
You're
yeah.
not. Although there were some circumstances that allowed it, and the one circumstance where I've never seen more soldiers drinking in a public place was when during Hurricane. This little story time. Hurricane Katrina.
Yep.
Hurricane Katrina. So my unit, the 287 was down in a part of that relief effort, and they let us loose one night in Miami.
Oh boy.
A whole battalion, right? So
Yeah.
a battalion, it's like 500 guys, and all in formation right on Miami Boulevard. And they said, "You have 2 hours. Be back here for the buses, or you're going to miss the buses back." And everybody, and we didn't have any, because when we left, we didn't have time we didn't bring any civilian clothes or anything.
Right.
So everybody was out in uniform, and they just said, "Go get them."
You get 2 hours.
2 hours, and remember, so this is after we'd kind of saved the day with the hurricane relief.
Sure, yeah.
So you had 500 true heroes
Yeah.
for 2 hours on Miami Boulevard.
Oh, boy.
It was. To this day, it was one of the craziest nights I've ever seen.
There you go.
Crazy.
Chaos.
And this was the best part. The best part was so I was only lieutenant at the time, and our commander, a battalion commander's there, and he's saying, "Okay, no, it was this battalion sergeant major, the head of all the enlisted guys. He comes out and he says, "Okay, you guys know the rules. No drinking, no drinking." And everybody's like, "Okay, yes, sir, we got it.
Yep.
That's the rule, no drinking." So the first stop that we go, so then the battalion says, "All right, officers, we're going over in here and we're going to have like a little talk in here." As soon as I walk in, my battalion commander's standing there with a drink, and I'm like, and I was like, "That's all I didn't ask, I didn't question, I didn't ask
Message
any other."
delivered.
Yep, I said, "Okay," and I turned around and I left that, and I grabbed two of my buddies and I said, "We're going down Miami Boulevard.
2 hours.
Here we go.
That's
We're on
funny.
the clock."
That's funny. That's funny.
So
Good stuff.
we were allowed to do it that night. There was some, there was a.
It's
It was more of a guideline than a rule.
got to figure it out. Got to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, it's all topical based
It's
on
all
timing,
topic.
what's
All
going
right, so
on.
back to Medicaid.
Pretty
I was
easy
thinking about
transition
Medicaid,
back.
right? I was
Easy
thinking about
transition
that. I'm in Miami. I'm at what was the name of the? I'll think about it. Right, I have to think.
You're in Coconut Grove going, you know what we need to talk about, guys? Gather around, gather
How
around.
many
We're gonna
people-
talk about, you can keep, guys, you can keep your TRICARE
What are
if
the
you go on
numbers?
Medicaid. You can
When
keep-
did you
keep your health
when did you
insurance.
set up your irrevocable trust? Yeah, yeah. 19-year-old. Yeah, 19-year-old.
They care about. That's what they think about.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Specialist
what they think about.
Budikoff. Hey, Specialist Budikoff, when did you set up that trust? I know you're 19. You're going to be 20 this year,
Did you
right?
sign that yet?
Yeah.
You signed that yet?
In December.
That's right.
Okay.
Who's your trustee? Just
Yeah.
curious. That's right. That's right. Not happening. Not happening.
No drinking.
That's right.
None of you.
That's right.
I don't want to hear it. Yeah.
That's right. But if you do, if you're not in that situation, and
Yeah.
you do have an irrevocable trust, Medicaid's going to look at it.
Medicaid's going to
They're
look
gonna
at it.
look
They're
at
going to know, and they're going to, and most importantly, they're going to look at they're going to look at it because don't you see this too, right? I mean, we see this so many times with our clients. They're like, when the topic of estate planning comes up, so have you done any estate planning? Oh yeah, we have. Yep, we have an attorney. Yeah. Do you have a trust? And they're like, "Oh yeah, we have a trust." And I'm like, "Okay, well, what kind of trust is it? Irrevocable? Is it a revocable trust?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, well, it's one of those. Yeah, it's that. It's that."
It's that.
Yeah, and it's the one, because we don't want to lose anything. We don't want to have everything kind of go. We don't want like the government, the state to take
We
it.
want the nursing home to take the house. That's
Exactly.
usually what we hear.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, there's that, right?
Yep.
And I'll say, so it's irrevocable trust, and and then you're kind of saying, wow, you're 50 years old and you have an irrevocable trust. That seems young for that seems like
Yeah. There could be a reason, right?
Yep.
I'm not saying it's not the case, but it seems a little off.
Yeah.
Seems a little odd. What do we need
well,
to...
it's not common, right?
Yes,
It's not common, at
very
least from
uncommon.
what we see in our practice, right? So and even better, then they'll be like, yeah, I'm 50 years old and I also have long-term care insurance. And I'm like, oh,
That's a
well,
shocker.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now we kind of know what angle you're looking at here. You're like, or who you've been talking to.
Well, and there could be a reason. Somebody might say, look, you know what? We, both of us, absolutely locked down have dementia, Alzheimer's in our house, in our family.
family,
We know
right,
what's going to
so-
happen. We've got, we did some testing.
And
there's
we've
all these
seen it,
genetic-
right? And most
Yep.
people have seen it in real time,
Yeah.
like what it happens and how
It's
people
unusual at
respond.
that age, but we know that this is kind of what our future looks like. You might even have somebody might get an early onset
Yeah.
diagnosis, and somebody might say, look, we've done this planning because we've been, so it'll kind of cause you to ask different questions and talk about different things, but you're going to try to figure it out. But I think you're right. People come in all the time and they say, look,
Say, I gotta trust.
we've already done this. We've already done this. Like,
Yeah.
okay, great. Humor me. We had a client come in this week and they brought their entire estate planning with them. And they, we started talking about, things that we want to update, things we want to change, things that we think that they should. And they're like, no, we're good. We got that. And they slide the folder across the desk at me.
They slide right. They dust it off, and then
kind of one of those like take that, right? I already did this, lawyer boy, right? I got this all done.
I know what you're looking for. Yeah.
And so I open up the paperwork and I'm like, oh yeah, geez, oh my God, all the documents are in it. And I pull
1987.
I pull out one of the documents and I go, yep, you're all set. You're right. Here's the only problem though. Here's the only thing I just want to point out right here. It's not signed.
Yeah. Or it's not right.
No,
Signed.
it's legit not
Yeah.
signed. And I'm like, you know that, right? And they were joking around, right? You're kidding, right? They think I'm messing with them. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
It's all notarized. It's all witnessed, but you didn't sign it.
Yeah.
They're like, that doesn't seem right. I said, no, it doesn't seem right. You're right, because it's not right.
Because it's not right.
Here it is. And they're like, that's crazy. That must be a copy. I'm like, no, it's the real one.
Yeah.
I said, but that's all right, because hold on, because you know what? Hold on. Oh, that's right, because this one isn't signed either. And there was a whole bunch of them in there.
Right.
And I said, so I'm not messing with you. I'm not trying to have fun at your expense. But this is the stuff that happens, right? So if you're kind of working with your people, your advisors, you want to, don't assume the solution has already been addressed. Be open to the idea that, hold on, we need to, and this is what we're talking about. We're talking about Medicaid planning. We're talking about protecting your property, your asset.
You brought up I think the most important thing to kind of take away from today's lesson, kids, is if you're applying for Medicaid, you're already there. You're already in the nursing home. If you're already
it's right there.
Yeah, you're already there. So you've come to this place already. Like it's not like you wake up one day and say, hey, you know what? I'm in this nursing home. I could apply for Medicaid. No, usually it's a very kind of rather slow and deliberate process.
Well, to your point, this is all sort of predicated on this. We talk about this care continuum all the time, right? And to your point, unless something happens like out of the blue stroke type stuff where you just weren't expecting it. That's a different animal, right?
And it's not common, but that happens, right?
That's right. But in many cases, what's going on is there's a decline. There's a decline that's been going on for some time. You have a little bit of heads up on it. You kind of know what's happening. You kind of see where it's going. And then this is out there. This is what you're preparing for.
And here's the problem, because once that starts, because it's not like it's not my Medicaid application. It's not like I'm going to Jay and say, all right, it's time for me to apply for Medicaid. It's the decline has started. Oh, things are I can't really get up and down the stairs. I'm having trouble for whatever. And once that starts, that's usually when they'll call you up and they'll say, oh, okay, estate planning attorney, I just want to make sure that my estate plan's okay. And then you'll ask all the right questions and say, okay, well, what do you have? Have you done it? Oh, yeah, we've done estate planning. And then the first question you'll ask with respect to estate planning, especially if it's kind of a potential Medicaid situation, you'll say, do you have an irrevocable trust? And if you do, what's in it, right? What's in said irrevocable trust? And then the next question is, when did you set this irrevocable trust up, right?
Yeah.
And to the point we were talking about before, where someone will be like, oh yeah, we're good. We've done that. We've set that trust up. And you say, great, let's see it. And let's make sure it's legit, because what we were saying earlier, you know who's going to look at it? The Medicaid person.
Yes.
The Medicaid caseworker
right.
is going to say, okay, I understand that you have $1 million in assets and you're telling me that they're in this irrevocable trust. Let's make sure. And it's not like they're nitpicking or anything.
No. Well, but great, phenomenal point. You mentioned it earlier. We hear this all the time. People say, we put this property into a trust, and then the waters get really muddy, right? We put this into a trust because, and then they can't remember why, because they did it X numbers of years ago, right? And they'll say, well, and because everybody is so focused on the Medicaid, nursing home, someone's going to take my house thing, they think that that's the problem they solved.
Yeah.
And it's not the problem they solved, because they did it 10 years ago when they were 62, and that wasn't a problem at 62. Nobody was worried about that at 62. We say this all the time. How many estate plans am I going to do? 3, maybe 4. 3, maybe 4, unless things get weird.
And that seems like a lot.
Over the course of your lifetime.
Yeah.
Right? So you're going to do 1 when your kids are little, to have the guardianship thing taken care of. You're going to update that when you're in late 50s, because now your kids can be your backup healthcare proxy.
Yeah.
That's right. They are your backup agents now.
Right.
There's no need for that anymore. Maybe you're going to do a 3rd one when you get older, when you realize we've won the game, right? Main Effort did such a phenomenal job managing our retirement portfolio. We know we're not going to run out of money.
I mean, that is a hypothetical endorsement, just for the record. It's
Now
not like
we
that,
can
that
stop
no one's actually. We're not saying that is a. Yeah.
Now we can start offloading stuff that we know we're not going to need. You know, the goal is to get the vacation house to the kids. The goal is to get this property to the kids. We're trying to make that happen. We know we're not going to need those assets or the money that those assets would turn into. Now we're going to do Medicaid planning. And then we're going to say, well, we did that trust. And we're going to say, yep, you did this trust.
Yeah.
You didn't do the one that you need. You did a trust to solve problem A. We have problem B. That's what we're dealing with. And that's what the whole Medicaid planning process is about. What problem are we solving for? We have a will.
Yeah.
I understand you have a will. And you have a will that leaves everything to your spouse, who, by the way, is on their way to the nursing home.
Yeah.
We don't want them to inherit all of your money on the way to the nursing home, because that's not going to help us out.
That's not
we have
gonna
to
help
solve
you
a
out,
different
right,
problem. That's right. So we have you're the will that you have worked, but now it doesn't work. Now we need to do something different. Because why? Because we're planning around Medicaid. So the Medicaid planning piece of it is way more than just let's do the application. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the big piece. That's the whole meat and potatoes of the
And
thing.
here's the first question. I said the first question. I mean, the real question, or once you kind of see everything laid out, is you may say, you're never ever going to apply for Medicaid, or you're never going to qualify for Medicaid based on what I see here. You just won't get there.
And to get you there, you're not even going to like what we would have to do to get you there, because it means tying up your assets, changing the way you own them, changing the way you invest them. You are not going to want to give yourself, you're not going to want to restrict your world that much to do this. You're just not going to want to do it.
We've talked about it, and some people, and that's not an uncommon thing, where people come in like, I just don't want to give it to the nursing home. I just don't want to lose it. And you're like, okay, back up a little bit. So when you get older, right, and let's say you can't live in your house anymore because the stairs are too steep, and because you can't do the yard work, you can't, and it's time. Like, we just had this recently happen with one of our clients. It's time for you to go to an assisted living place. It's time for you to kind of to change, because let's say your spouse has passed away or something, and it's just, you're ready for this, and it's just like the next phase of your life. It's not like it's not in the perfect world, but this is kind of where this is kind of where you're at, and it's where life has taken you. And guess what? Life costs money. Like, it costs money for you to live. So you get to and let's say you find the place, you find that nursing or the assisted living, private pay, and you're like, you know what? This is good. This is comfortable. I have friends. I like the food sometimes, but you know what? This is and so now it's like, I want to stay here for as long as I can. Like, if 6 months before that, when you were kind of setting this up, and you said, listen, you know what? I'm really nervous about, I don't want to give all my money away. And Jay, you go to Jay, and Jay's like, yeah, we can start putting your money somewhere else, but you're not going to be able to use it.
Right.
You're not going to be able to help your granddaughter pay for her wedding. You're not going to help pay for your grandson, who's good, who's starting a new business.
Go to school, go to grad school, whatever it is. Yes, right.
So you're, kind of the life that you, as you know, and remember, the other thing is, like, if you have assets and you have money, it's like, this is your money.
Right.
This is, money was made, you heard it from your finance team here. Money was made to be spent.
Oh, yeah.
But not all in one weekend. And you're right. If there's some things that you want to protect, and this is the conversation that you have. There's some things that I definitely want to protect. There's some things I like. We always talk about kind of the vacation home or the home the kids grew up in. Like, I want that piece of property to get passed on to my children.
And it doesn't matter why. Like, don't overthink the why. We tell people all the time, Medicaid planning is legacy planning.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's about. It should be part of a lifestyle discussion. This is why we say all the time, you're going to have things in your life that you're going to say to yourself, I'm probably not selling this, right? Not everybody treats their house like a piece of real estate.
Your 12-string guitar.
That's
you're not
going with
you're
me.
not. You're not selling it.
I'm not selling it.
Nope,
Someone's going to get that.
It's going to be an oversized, maybe right next to you.
Maybe, who knows? Maybe it's given away at the funeral. I don't know. I don't know when that's going to happen. Someone's going to get
sort of a lottery?
Someone's going to get it. Maybe you put your name in the hat, put a business card, depending on your referrals.
Put your name in the case that it came in, right?
You get an entry for every referral you send to the law firm. But this is the idea. But the idea is that it's lifestyle planning, right? This is you think about your house like a house. The rest of the world thinks about your house like a piece of real estate that's worth X amount of
Yeah,
dollars.
that's
right?
got a crappy lawn. Like,
That's
you know,
right.
right. It's
That's
like,
right.
oh, it's
That needs
okay.
a,
yeah.
that needs a paint job.
Yeah,
that needs something, right?
Yeah, the
That-
boiler's 20 years old, right?
Yep.
Then it's to them, it's nothing. It's just
And
another
so-
place.
And so when you're Medicaid planning, you're saying to yourself, is this where I'm trying to leave? Now, it could be that, or it really could be the money that's going to turn into, because maybe nobody wants the house. Maybe they already have a house, right? And they say, look, Mom and Dad's house is great, but we're not moving back there for a whole host of reasons. But we would tell you what, we'd really like the money the house would turn into. That would do a world of good.
Yeah, the $100,000 would really help with the college tuition.
That would pay a couple of tuition bills.
It could be a game changer.
That's right.
Like, it could be a
That's
game
right.
changer for your kids. And that's, again, like you said, it's legacy planning. It's like you want to, pass on the wealth or what you've accumulated. You want to be able to have something to show for what you did.
You're doing this to improve your kids' quality of life. You're leaving a huge impact.
But not at the expense of where you're just going to, your whole life is going to change so dramatically, where you're going to start living, and this impoverished life when you don't have to.
No. And we tell everybody that's the exact word we use. You don't want to impoverish yourself in an attempt to
just give your
beat the
kids more
nursing
money.
home boogeyman that may never show up.
Right.
It's like insurance, right? The whole time you're insurance, you're like, I hope I don't use. I hate making these premium payments, but I really hope I don't use that insurance. But I hate making.
No
these
one
premium
wants.
payments.
No one wants to make a car insurance claim.
That's right.
You don't want to do that,
That's
but you
right.
do it because in case you have to, right? And it's the same thing with this. Like you may never get to a nursing home.
Never.
You may never.
You may never see the inside of one,
You
ever.
may never get to a Medicaid. You may never apply for Medicaid because you stayed in that assisted living place for 5 years and you died happily at age 110 on the front porch.
That's right.
Like
That's right. And if that's what you want to do, that's great. But in the meantime, if you want to do the planning, all the planning does is put a belt and suspenders together so that if something ever happens, you're
pants don't fall
looking
down.
to ensure your legacy.
He wanted to say it.
And keep your draws up. You're looking to ensure your legacy and keep your draws up. That's what you're trying to do. That's what you're trying to do.
All right, so I'm gonna I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Let's
on
bring
that,
this
on
to its logical end.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think these new microphones are making us a little kooky.
I think they make a difference. I
think they do.
look at those levels.
Look at the energy. The energy
it's a lot of
is
energy. All right,
unbelievable.
so we will see everybody next week.
No.
Next
you
week
will.
it's Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll leave it
Yeah.
Thursday. All right.
All right. We'll see everybody next week. He's got some events
some
that
other
he's got to
thing
go
working
to.
on. Yep,
so we'll
that's
see
right.
everybody next week on
That's
Monday
the
in the
St.
Lawn.
Patty's Day show.
That is the St. Patrick's.
Oh, no. If you're going to tune into one show a year, that's the show to tune into.
All right.
All right. We'll talk
next
about this
week. St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Have a great week, everybody.
We'll
Take
see
care.
you next week.
See you.